This is the third take, and if it don't go, I'm done for the night. I'm talking about the population levels mentioned in Lights Out for FEMA to demand that people relocate, vacate an area. And that was, 50,000 was the number given. A lot of counties in Missouri are 15,000, the whole county. 15, 5, 10, 15. Not 50, 0 for a city. 15,000, the whole county. So, point being, and I'm going to sum this up. Last one was like a 22-minute ramble. And due to that not having enough memory, it blew up. So, all right. Jack McLam, most decorated police officer in Phoenix, Arizona. History back when. He's the guy that went in with Bo Greitz, Lieutenant Colonel Bo Greitz, to try to negotiate with Randy Weaver. So, in Idaho back when, 1992, 91, whatever it was. Look up the song 17 Little Children by Carl Klang. 17 little children, why did they deserve to die? Okay. Anyway, but Jack McLam wrote a book called Vampire Killer 2000. And it was about putting a stake in the heart of the New World Order, the vampire, the bloodsuckers, in the year 2000. So, we didn't make it. He made the point back then, and it was very calming, because when I became aware of a lot of this stuff, a bunch of the things were just dumped on me quickly, in short order. Black helicopters, FEMA camps, guillotines, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff that I've heard so many times now, and as my son has heard so many times now, it's boring, Dad. Oh, man, that's about it. I'm going to try it. Just hang on. Press reset. If it weren't for having discovered that breaker, I would be done with this one. I was trying to figure out how to rewire a outlet for internet capability, but we're going with DirecTV, and it should be done tomorrow morning. Okay, so Jack McLam made the point that they want to control large population as possible with minimum resources. Okay, they're going to be going after people, money, and food. Okay, that's what they're going to control. And so your large population bases, your large cities, are going to be the primary target, because they have people, they have money, and they have resources, and that's going to be the main part. And most of their resources are going to have a limited amount. I mean, there's not an infinite amount of weaponry, guns, troops, night vision, tanks, helicopters. It's no matter what you say, no matter what any of these whiny, the world's going to end and there's nothing anybody can do and we're all going to die, fools. And that may be, but who cares? So what if we're all going to die? We all got to die sometime anyway. So what difference does it make when it happens or how it happens? In spite of that, I mean, basically, their resources are going to be limited. So, those resources will be primarily chewed up in the cities. So, it's why they say, rule number 1 is survival, get out of the cities. Rule number 2, get out of the cities. Rule number 3, get out of the cities. But I would, the other thing I would point out is that, get out of the cities, get away from the borders, get away from the coast. Now, when you say get away from the coast, well, get away from the cities, because all your largest concentrations of our populations are on the coasts. So get away from the coast, get away from the cities, kind of saying the same thing, you know. Get away from the borders, wise idea. Okay, not going to go into that anymore on this video because I've covered it before. Hopefully you'll listen. So they're both going to be a bloodbath, which is going to be bloodier. I think the southern, I've said that before, but whatever. We'll see. Time will tell. So concentration of population in small areas as possible to minimize manpower required to control said population. Pretty simple. Now, everybody has been in a big city. I mean, maybe you're listening to this and you haven't. Fine. Don't go. Stay out in the country. You're better off. But picture those of you who live in the cities, or next time you're driving around, if you're going around one of the rings, one of the interstates, like 225 goes around Denver, and you got 225, 270, 470, you know, C470, you got these rings around cities. As they get bigger, they add a second one, and as they get bigger, they add a third one. I'm sure some cities have 3. Just get a road atlas and look at the cities. Look at the maps. Look at the rings. They look like targets. They are targets. What do they have on either side of them? Walls, 20, 30-foot walls. Put concertina wire on that. Boom, you got a prison camp. And you can control 2 million people with 200 men. Pretty damn easy. You know, militia in Denver figured it would take them about 200 people, 250 people to control the entire population of Denver, and well, a few months later, the National Guard military came out with a statement saying that they could control Denver with 200 troops. So, military assessment, pretty simple. Look at all the egress points. You know, you got to get on a highway to get out, and if the highways are shut down, whether by explosives or troops, tanks, whatever, you ain't going anywhere. And then think of a lot of the highways are concrete. And you got those concrete walls on either side, and what do you call that? It's called a shooting gallery. Put a machine gun pointed that way and a machine gun pointed that way. You can pretty well shut that thing down. Ain't nobody can cross it. They will be DMZs. Those rings around those cities form perfect concentration camp control situations. So, ugly thought, I know, but just simple reality. So, this is my 3rd time. I ain't doing it again, so I'm just going to shut this one down and get some sleep, some much needed sleep. So basically that's just a thought, you know, as far as the lights out situation goes and what they're talking about in the counties in the book. Yeah, that is kind of a given that can happen, will happen. And plan on being outside of those locations. Ideal idea, you know, what I did is just, hey, you got a bug out location? Go live there. Pretty simple. Cut your losses. Burn your bridges. You know, you don't have to retire with $1 million. I made this point in the other video. I'm going to repeat it this time. Every single day, as time goes on, people who used to be millionaires and who used to live in McMansions and who used to have a $300,000 RV and used to have a $200,000 boat are now homeless. They're on the streets. These are not losers. These are not crackheads. These are people who used to be wealthy. They're now homeless. Watch the video. Orange County, California is now a shithole. You know, those are people that were well-to-do. They were wealthy. They're not now. They're homeless. They have a bicycle, some of them. They're living in tents. They are living under blue tarps, exposed to the weather, and they're not going to be there long, I guarantee you. The government will do something with them. So, don't be that homeless person. Liquidate your resources and get out while the getting's good. And right now the getting's still maybe good. It's going to get worse as time goes on. Travel will get harder. You may have guard units at county lines someday to keep you from leaving the county. So, word to the wise, I'm getting tired of saying it, but hopefully people will listen and not be formerly ignorant and now stupid. So, all right, this is Jerry Diamond. If you listen to this, you're the remnant. I'm tired and I'm going to bed. Good night.